Notherius, hello. Harand, hello. Queco, hello. Connor, as always, a pleasure. Julian, hello. Queco, recent subscribing after 19 months, and then I think I might have had a stroke because I don't understand any of those messages. AC, hello. Right. What's going on? What's occurring? That button's not doing anything. That button's not doing anything. Everything is terrible. It's too hot. I hate everything. Let's write some C++. Let's generate some shorts. So my plan, I kind of want to hope. Oh, mate, you and me both. Ralkin, hello. Laura, hello. Right, so the plan today is I really want to draw a line under the profiling stuff for now. I was thinking about this a fair bit. There's like always more we could do. There's an infinite amount of work we could do on building. Like the project could just be building profiling tooling, and that would be it as long, if not longer. So I want to draw a line today. We've got the memory stuff. I want to finish off the thread stuff. I'm going to put a pin in the OpenGL stuff for now because we really must get on to writing physics stuff. So my plan today is just to finish off doing the integration gubbins for the threading, profiling, the sampling stuff, and then like get that printed out. I am not now, right here, right now, going to integrate it into ImGUI because Biokuaz, I currently have a separate branch which is a long overdue debug renderer refactor, and it's quite involved, but it'll make the code a lot nicer. So I'm currently planning on not adding more. Basically, I want to avoid adding any more to the debug renderer unless we absolutely have to until that refactor is done. And I'm just doing that refactor kind of slow time in my own time. It's not particularly. There's a bit of what's in there. What's in the refactor? There's a bit of there's some custom data types. There's a bit of reflection. It probably would have been interesting to do live, but it would have, like, I've been working on this like the last week, like a few hours here and there, and I'm not even done yet. So it would have been a couple. I just don't think it's worth burning a couple of streams on. It's actually kind of just fun for me just to sit down and do some C++ quietly. So OpenGL over Vulkan, this comes up a lot. I've got shorts on this. I just think I can do more in OpenGL than I can do Vulkan, basically. I think it gets me to my end goal quicker. Right, okay, so that's basically the plan, is to try and finish off. We've basically got through most of it, so we need to try and do the last little bit. I think there's a few other little bugs we need to fix up along the way. First and foremost, I fixed the bug that last stream we ended on a bug where the profiler it looked like it was like deadlocking when it was in here. So it was like main thread, stack trace, and then in stack trace it goes suspend, enters the danger zone, does loads of gubbins, and then resumes. And it was deadlocking. I spent a bit of time looking at this, and I thought really hard about it, and then I realized what was going on after a while was that where we construct the main thread, we were passing in like get current thread, right? Let's just bring up the docs for get current thread. Is it this one? Here we go. The function cannot be used by one thread to create a handle that can be used by other threads to refer to the first thread, which is exactly what I was doing. The handle is always interpreted as referring to the thread that is using it. So what I was doing is I was passing in a magical value, which basically meant the current thread. And I was like, hey, because I want the current thread to be encapsulated in the main thread object, right? And then by the time I got down to the actual profiling code, when this was, because this is now being called from the profiler thread, so you have to remember we're in a separate thread here, I was suspending myself. So I was just taking my sword and just like leaning straight on it, which is why that was having a bad time. So that was an easy fix. We now use our favorite function, duplicate handle, to basically reify the magical get current thread handle thing into a real handle that we can then pass around. So that's a fun Windows gotcha that was a fun rake that I stepped on and smacked me straight in the face. Right. And the other bug I fixed, which I think people will hopefully appreciate. Sorry, we now get the black default window before the game starts. So hopefully that appeases people, because that was like a one-line fix in the Windows code. And now we're here. So hopefully, yeah, no more flashbang. So hopefully that is appeasing to people. Okay, so we're getting there now. We're getting there. Okay, so basically the end here, I want to close the game, and after all this is done, I want just a big log of what all the threads were doing and how much time they were spent and everything. It's not going to be perfect, we're not going to be able to see it in real time, but it's kind of, I think it's going to prove out the tooling, and then we can refine it later, because I do want to move Relentless March to physics. Poor Sijo, thank you very much for the Prime sub, much appreciated. The other potential change I'm going to do today, if we have time, but it's not the main thrust of the stream, is if you remember, we wrote resolve symbols, and this used a load of Windows gubbins to resolve symbols, because we basically get a bunch of void pointers for a call stack, and then we turn that into a vector of strings, which basically says here the functions, right? Sim from Adra, do the name demangling, etc., etc., etc. This, due to the very unique way that I've decided to build this project, doesn't work out of the box, because my debug information is actually dwarf embedded in the PE file, which is a very strange thing to say, but it's true and it's what I do. So we have to use a third-party tool to convert the dwarf debugging information into the PDB file so this can pick it up. However, I believe we can use libbacktrace, which is part of the GNU GCC suite. There's a standalone version. I got the wrong one up. Yeah, this basically. Last commit 28 days ago. Nice. And this will handle elf, p, cof, macro, and xcof files with the dwarf debugging information in. So I think we can just use this, and then we won't have to rely on third-party tools. That is if we have time. I've already integrated into the build system, so we do have libbacktrace. I assume I've actually picked the right one now that I've seen that. What was the last commit? I did pick commit 96666. I've gone for master. Fine, I need to change that in last state. Yeah, okay, fine. So this is already built and is now linked in, so we can use this. So if we get time at the end, I might rewrite this again in terms of that, or I'll just do it quietly off stream. Hello, yes. No, I've not tried more G-code view yet, because I've not had a chance to update my tooling. Yeah, I don't really fancy doing manual PE parsing and manual, but it does. I would say it does fall under my caveat of not doing manual file parsing code, which I think you might be able to argue that's part of that. Anyway, none of this yapping gets us any closer to the end goal, which I've kind of forgotten what it is anyway. Right, okay, so first things first, let's revisit where we were, because that kills some time and makes me feel like I'm making progress. So we start the profiler, and then we start in a loop, basically grabbing stack traces, but we don't do anything with them. So the first thing we need to do is grab them. I know how the kids speak. Okay, we need to grab these and stick these somewhere. Obviously, we probably want to try and do this in a reasonably thread-safe manner, but I don't really want to take too many locks. And as we're not introspecting it at runtime, as we're not introspecting as the game runs, I feel like do we want to take a lock here when we do it? I'm just trying to think, because we're going to want to yield this out at some point. Tricky. Because what I want to do is basically like print thread profiles, right? Which does give me access to a so I do have access to the pools, thread pool. So like something like that. Because I'm like profiles, right? But the problem is though that thread is still running. Tricky thread pool. No, not gotten onto audio yet. Last time I used what did I use? X sound? X something 2, whatever the Windows one is. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for this time. X42. Aren't all the threads joined? No. It drains all the job. It drains the job queue, but that means that the profile thread is still running. What we probably need, right, is like do I just solve this now how we need to solve it anyway when we're going to want to integrate it into ImGUI? Because the idea is like if we're doing this, if ImGUI is up and you want to capture it, I'm going to have to at any point yeah, but do I want to stop? Do I want that when I'm grabbing it to put in ImGUI eventually, right? Do you see what I mean? Like, do I want to constantly? I'm gonna need. Right, let me just. Tricky. Okay, so you can tell I've not really thought this too far ahead. This is a little bit more nuanced now. Let me have a think. What do I want? I want a way to. Yeah, I think I'm going to want a way of pausing. All right, let's try and wire that in. All right, so let's do auto toggle profiling. Because I'm going to need this. I do need this for this anyway, so this is not me thinking too far ahead. Okay, so then underneath, where was it? Underneath drain, okay. Okay, fine. Then we're going to do third atomic ball profiling enabled. But actually, do we even want this, or do we want just? I think actually what might be easy is just have dump profile, and that internally toggles it on and off for us, turns it off, grabs a local copy, resumes it, yields that up. I don't like multi-step APIs. Like if I have to remember to toggle it, then so I can get the data, that's like a weird invariant, right? That I need to maintain. So I think actually, let's think about this more. So this is going to be, yeah, let's do dump profile data. So this is going to dump whatever we've got currently. Do I like dump? I guess, let's just call it profile data. Right. I don't know what this is going to return yet. This is going to return a, ooh, right. What's it all going to look like? This is going to be some sort of stud vector where each slot in the vector is going to be representing a thread. So worker 3 will go in slot 3, for example. Main will go in slot 0, I think. So we'll do vector that, and then we're going to have something like stud unordered map. Oh, so many moving parts to this to fix all at the same time. Then this is going to have stud vector void star the size t. Something like that, right? It might not be vector, it might be in place vector. I don't like gets and getters. I feel like the getting is implied. Basically, one thread, each thread has a slot, right? Could even do it as an unordered map of unordered maps, mapping thread pointers in, but I think that might get a little bit confusing. Okay, then we're going to basically capture the stack frame here, and for each equivalent stack frame that we sample, we'll increase the counter by 1. So this will allow us to basically keep per thread a counter for each unique stack frame that we capture. Okay, I've got a feeling this might have to be in place vector to keep it simpler, but that's fine. The only issue is that this is not hashable, so we're going to have to write a custom hash. I might just pull this out into a separate header file just to keep things cleaner. But for now, let's work with this. I might keep this as just auto. Then I'll have to declare it here, won't I? Memory bucket container. Do you mean like? What do you mean by memory bucket? What do you mean by memory bucket container? Do you mean like a hash, like an ordered map where things get bucketed, or do you mean something with like where you can mark stuff as like a tombstone and then refill those gaps, like a free list, like an object pool? I'm gonna keep this as auto and just do this in line. I think just because it's such a miserable auto return. In fact, actually, I can keep this clean, can't I? Because I can just do thread. I don't really like splitting out all my implementations quite so much, but it's only so much you can do. Profile data defined in here. Inline. There you go. Because you need access to the header file if you're doing auto return type, I think. I don't think you can move the implementation over to the CP file because then the header file will never know what the type is. It's effectively a template. StudHive is just basically it's not contiguous like I thought it was. StudHive is basically just a deck where you can mark individual elements as unused. And the iterator is smart enough to skip over those when iterating. But when you go to insert an element, it will first insert it into any of the unused slots before it appends it to the end, basically. Okay, so this is going to do, we're going to do profiling enabled is false, right? So more like static memory. I mean, static is to do, well, static is unfortunately overloaded, but I don't think so. Profiling enabled equals true, right? Probably need to do profiling enabled dots notify one. And then notify one. I'll double check that when we actually get to implementation. But basically, like, I've set it to false. I'm telling people I've now set it to 2. Is that going to be a race condition? Because how am I going to know if it's actually stopped? If it's halfway through doing one, we could ping. I wonder if we should ping pong it instead. I wonder if it's better off having. It's available in the standards. It was standards in C++26. It's not yet available in any implementation. I'm just thinking for myself here. So say we always have 2, right? Well, I'm thinking if we always writes to 1, then atomically switches to the other, then that's actually an atomic pointer. I'm overcomplicating this. Let's go back to what we had. See if we can puzzle this out. We might. Not polar profiling. Yeah, you might be right. Anyway, let's just start writing some stuff anyway. So this is basically going to do const auto data copy equals profile date. So I'm going to take a copy of that and then return data copy, right? We've got basic rendering done. We've got inputs and events done. We've got probably basically that's kind of it. Then I'm on a little bit of a side quest doing some profiling stuff, and then after that we're going back to physics. So that'll be the next major thing. That's basically what I do. I want to stop it profiling. I want to take a copy of it, and then I want to. I mean, if it's in a releasable state, I'll release it. So basically, we want to do profile enable dot wait false, right? If oh, does that not return the new value? I thought it did. Oh, it's void. Okay, fine. Never mind. Fine. Stood wait. Right. So I want it to wait. Constant wait operation. Hello. So you want to wait for the old value, right? Oh, sorry. So I want to wait true. Yeah, I feel like this is a bit messy now, and I can't in my mind figure out exactly what I want. I want to be able to take a copy of this data. I want to be able to pause this, take a copy of it, and then resume. I wonder if you could just signal the. Could you just signal the thread to stop and then just restart it? Is that too heavyweight? It might be too heavyweight to be doing continuously in a debug UI. Anyway, let's puzzle this out because I think we're onto the right track, right? So we're going to wait for it to be true. So it's going to keep going round. If we signal it, that's fine. Then if we're here, then we want to do profiling through enabled equals. I suppose it'll already be true. Yeah, see, this is the problem I've got now. So I need to be able to grab a copy of the data. I could just use I suppose, well, these things just use a mutex, isn't it? I don't know why I'm making this so complicated. I mean, this is exactly what a lock's for, right? Let's lock, profile lock, because it should spin lock to start with anyway, so they should be pretty efficient. I could probably write some weird userland stuff anyway if it's. I think this is easier, right? So this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do auto lock equals third scope lock. Profile lock. Okay. Take a copy of the data. Bish bash bosh. Get on with our day. And then this thread pull. We will, on each iteration, we'll grab the lock, which it should be uncontended anyway. Everything's going to be customs. I'm not looking to reverse engineer any other format. I'm kind of interested in the forward engineering side of it. Okay, so then we're going to, right, okay, so now what we can do is we can start sticking the data in. Right, okay, let's do, what do we need? We need under main thread, profile thread, profile lock, profile data. Okay, so that's that. And then we want to do profile data it's a vector of unordered maps, right? So we're going to want to have worker count plus 1, right? Because we want the main thread plus all the workers. It should be at the right time. That lock will release here, right? So at the end of the loop. So we'll grab the loop, we'll do some work. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, we want to scope that so that we don't hold it while we sleep. Good spot. So we'll grab the lock, do the work, sleep. Now, I believe there's another bug here that we are going to come across in that this thread ID isn't great, but I quite like to use this as the index because it's our system, it's our thread ID. We can get what I want, and thread ID should be 0 for the main thread, and then worker thread numbers after that. I think I might have to change the thread pool to make that a reality, but static auto ID ID num static auto num equals 0zu, and then we will return num plus plus. All right. So each time around we'll get a new one. That's nice. I'm surprised you don't really test that fail because of that. It's a little bit concerning, but try and fix that later. Right. So now we're going to make sure that the profile thread is actually constructed last, which we can now do because it's a where's it go? Main thread. It's an optional now, isn't it? So that's fine. Profile thread. Keep that like that. And then this becomes. And I'm actually just make sure profile thread is created last. So main plus worker thread have slots 0, 0 to 0 to n in profile data. That feels like a comment that's really important to have. Oh shoot, yes, you're right. I need to do that in the constructor, don't I? Good spot. Good spot. Thank you. Good spot. Now, right. That's better. Okay, so now we can get each thread has an ID, and by convention, our convention, because it's our system, main is 0, and then all the worker threads are then 1 through 2n minus whatever, 1, 2, whatever, and then everything else is after that. I've got 2 constructors, god damn it. It's hot. Context for auto generate ID size T now back to return num plus plus. All right, and now that's better. Should have done that to start with, but hey ho, here we are. No more constructors. Nice. Okay, okay. So thread pool. So now that we've got the lock, we can do. Actually, what I might, have I got error handling in here? No, let's do hash include utils. Actually, that could be a, should that be a test? Just wondering if it's worth us checking that. Something like ensure main thread dot ID equals 0. I need to revisit the thread pool tests anyway. We might be able to just codify that test, but that's fine. Okay, so now we're here. What we should be able to do is we should be able to. So I am going to have to change this thread pool nonsense to in place vector. $100ZU, that's fine. This is why I wanted the auto type return, because I don't have to fuck around with this. No, it's a fine question, but I do a lot of interviewing, so it's not really not really fair for me to kind of discuss that, I think. So then we can do profile data worker.id dot basically I want to do try mplace that, right, which then hang on, give me a second. So if we try and place it, right, we always get back an iterator to the thing, right? And that thing will either be the new one because we just inserted it or the existing one, and we don't actually care about the bool because that tells you which one it is. But this is basically like, give me the thing, right? And then we can do dot first, okay, which will give us the, will give us the first element of the pair, which is the iterator to the object, right? And then we can do dot second, which plus plus. Should we do it first or second? Anyway, we'll figure it out when we get to it. But that's basically what we're going to need to do, right? So we're going to say, given the worker ID, get the unordered map, which is the associated with this thread, stick its stack trace in there, and then get out the iterator to it, and then its second one, which is the count, increment it. However, this is going to explode for us because we're going to have to find a way of hashing this, but also like I don't want to have to pass in the whole in place vector to do this. So I think we might want to leverage off everyone's favorite heterogeneous lookup to make this a little bit more efficient, and I think it might be fun to look at anyway. But we should probably get this working first, and I'm going to see if we can make it more efficient. I don't know, but that's roughly what I want to do. So now the issue is going to be I might do source utils stack trace counter .h. All right, let's see if we can puzzle this out. Hash include. I don't care about the outer vector. What I want from this is unordered map, right? And then hash include in place vector. Hash include cease the def, right? So let's do using stack trace counter equals third unordered map. So the key is the in in place vector void star 100ZU, and the value is the size. So so's t. Right, that looks like perfectly normal C++ code. So then I'm going to want to do bar struct namespace impl struct stack trace hasher, and that's going to have an auto operator constant in place vector. I should really alias this in place vector because I want to change the size. I'm going to have to change it in loads of places. So I don't know where the best place to do that is. Probably in thread, but I don't really want to include thread in here. Don't I have some container types? E source. Where's data buffer? Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place today. E source utils. I should definitely have a containers directory, but let's do stack trace buffer.h pragma 1 hash include in place vector hash include c std def namespace ufts. Std map was first, right? That came in C++. Well, it was part of the original standard library, so it's always been there. And then after a while, they decided they needed a hash map, but they decided to call it unordered rather than ordered. I couldn't tell you why map was only first, and that got the good name, but it is, I guess, just legacy. But unordered map didn't come till quite a bit later. Okay, so you're using stack trace buffer equals std in place vector. Get rid of that. Didn't want that. That was all bullshit. Alright, okay. So now we can do hash include utils. For fuck's sake. Stack trace buffer, and then this all becomes nice and easy. Const stack trace buffer stack trace return something, return 0. Well, one of my favorite hashes. Is it the call operator? Yeah. And then this is going to have, we're going to have, the key is going to be the stack trace buffer. The key is going to be std size t. The hasher is going to be a stack trace hasher, and also I'm going to need the equality operator as well. What's it called? Is it called key equal struct stack trace key equal auto operator const auto nope, not auto, sorry, stack trace buffer stack trace 1 const stack trace buffer stack trace 2 const full and true, sure, always equal. Right, stack trace hasher stack trace key equal. Right. Whew. That's a bit of a mouthful. Yes, the three-way operator, spatial operator, I think it's good if you can use it. I wouldn't say it's like an absolute deal breaker for the language, but it's kind of nice. Okay, so this is roughly, we obviously need to fill in the implementation, but this is now going to be the state, the state of this. So this should, in theory, allow us to store stack traces. How's your FPS? It's on a side quest, but it's getting there. So let's just integrate this into the thread pool like so. Thread pool like so. Sorry, a lot of rando C++ today. So this now becomes a vector of stack trace counter, right? Which is much nicer, right? Oh yeah, sure. We'll all stop so you can go and vacuum. Cab, hello, thank you. Glad you're here. Right, okay. So we've got the stack trace counter. So now we need to fill in some implementation details for that. So let's do the first one first. So this is, so hang on, split hash array of ints, right? Because you can't just, you need to combine them, right? But there's some like magic. There's some like magic number you can do somewhere. I've seen it before. I should have made a note of this because I definitely have seen it. There's boost hash range, but I don't really want to bring that in. What I want is the magical hash function. It's definitely on Stack Overflow. I've definitely seen it before. Check stack trace buffer H, there'll be errors. You probably just that, which is a little bit annoying. Hash vector of ints. Oh yeah, and pragam. Yeah, you're right. Good spot. Right, here we go. We need this magic value thing, right? So we just do this in a loop, and then we basically just accumulate them. Oh yes, sorry, Button, I didn't see that. Thank you very much. Right, okay, so what we want to do is I want to I don't think that code makes any sense. Oh no, it's a reference. That's fine. I think can we range? There's like, does it fold something to the right? Fold left. Right. This is what I want. So you have a function, an initial value, and then the range that you're doing it over. So which one of the two is when you here we go. F. Which one does it pass to? It invokes F with the accumulated value and then the next iterator. Remember that. It'll be important later. Let's do return third ranges fold left stack trace 0ZU and then auto I've lost it already. Auto accumulator, so that'll be effectively the seed, I guess, then auto value, right? And then we can do I'll be an algorithm, won't it? Hash include algorithm. Okay. Return. Hello. Seed XOR equal with third hash of value. I don't know if let me do ctad on that. Plus OX. Ready for this? 9E3779B9 plus seed 6 plus seed 2. Oh no, wait a minute, that's wrong, isn't it? Because it's going to need hash of void star, construct it, then pass in the value. Yeah, obviously, get all those runes right. This basically just spreads the numbers out so that as you're accumulating them with the XOR, you don't get repeat patterns and you don't accidentally cancel things out. I want to hash a stack trace so I can keep track of how many times I see that stack trace so I can profile it. So if I see the same stack trace 1,000 times and then I see another one 10 times, then I know that I spent more time in the one that's been called 1,000 times. Does that make sense? Exactly, yeah, but it's fine, right? And then this should just be return stack trace 1 equal stack trace 2. I don't even know if I need a custom equality key for this. That might just work, but I want to. I might as well use. We might as well go full heterogeneous on this. Like we're an hour in, and I've not had nearly enough template errors yet. So have I got to push in a? Oh, I bet I got to give it a pair with in place, back with try in place, or at least a value. Yeah, args. That's my bad. Thread. I mean, all this is my bad because it's my code. Try and place 0ZU. Getting closer. Yeah, mate, you can always ask. Void value not in. Why is it not liking this? Node iterator has no member named. Is it arrow then? Yeah, okay, fine. Sometimes it's a dot, sometimes it's an arrow. Thanks, iterators. So it seems to accept that now. What it doesn't like is the hashing. Have I gotten my custom hash wrong? I thought pairs were value based, but don't have the arrow operator overloaded on them. See, it has the operator here. Don't I do this somewhere else? Don't I, when I use the hetero, don't I have a custom string map? Yes, because we're going to want to do this anyway. Oh, is it because I've not given it an explicit return type? Oh, and I don't return this, that's why. Ha! Why not use std on a map std stack trace? So I can't use std stack trace, that won't work for me because I have to be able to construct it from a separate thread. That's the main reason. I have a profiler thread sitting there watching all the other threads, and if it just called std stack trace, it would get its own stack trace. So I have to use the Windows API and a bit of shenanigans to construct a stack trace for another thread, which means I'm then kind of out of using my own primitives. Right, we're getting there. I mean, what's this toggle profiling madness that I aberration that I've had? Apparition. Okay, that builds, right? Not gonna say it runs. Let's dump that into main here. So at the end of it, we will do const auto profile data equals pool dot profile data. And then for const auto thread data in profile data. Nope. Think it's that way around. So print ln thread ID index. Whoa. UFPS log info thread ID. Yeah, I think this might have to be a boomer loop, I'm afraid. With logging and stuff, unfortunately, it is a little bit easier. And then for I want to now swap the... Oh, let's just print it out for now. But I will need to swap the key and the value because I want to order by the most frequently hit, and that's the current value. Let's do for const auto stack count in thread data. We're going to do UFPS log info count, and then I should be able to do U FPS log info UFPS resolve symbols stack. Might not like that. Yeah, we're on 26. I don't think I know any Pascal. Why is that a tuple? Oh. What? Why is that a... Why is that a tuple element 0 constant pair? I can see the pair here. Is it because it's const? Yeah, but no, it's not a tuple. It's a bindless structured bindings, which act slightly differently. That has to be const, but it doesn't make the actual internal data const. It feels like the issue we had before where we were trying to pass in the wrong constness of the thing, but I really don't. No, this doesn't make any sense. Could not convert stack from. Oh no, is this stood tuple element? Is that the tuple element provides compile time index access to the types of the element. So what it's saying is the 0th element of const pair in place vector type to span. Assuming that works the way I think it does, then the 0th element of the pair will be, but it's why is it const? I have a horrible feeling it's all to do with this. Yeah, because it's const, and it doesn't like passing that const in, because I couldn't quite get it to work with the const span, if you remember. Cannot bind non-const. So this does need to be const. I may have to just unpack this normally. So thread data will give me pairs, wouldn't it? So I should be able to do auto counter equals data dot first, auto stack equals data dot. I'm not that interested in spending ages doing this because it's really not that interesting of code. Yep. Yeah, but I don't think... Is it printable? Am I just wasting my time? Oh, it may very well just be printable. That'd be nice. Okay. Indeed. Okay, right. So we've got all this. Why is it just printing out the... Oh, because I still need to resolve it, don't I? So I do need access to the inner vector. Okay, because I'm now not resolving it, am I? But this is... So you can see thread ID here. This was the stack trace. And like... Interesting that each of these only have... I guess because these worker threads are probably not doing anything, so they will only have one entry. Main is more interesting. So hit this once, hit this once, hit this once. It's hit a lot of things once. Hit this 3 times. I guess these were all unique. Because I need to sort by these numbers first. Let's get it printing a stack trace, and then we can kind of figure... Let's get started resolving the symbols first. So these are definitely... auto counter... Sorry, auto stack equals the get not data. That'll work for me. Okay. Counter F0 So let's see if we can get this to work. So this should now be UFPS resolve symbols. I really hope this works because we can't be bothered to faff around with this. Why is it const? I may have to change the... Might have to have an overload which accepts const one. Really, this should work, right? I get... So hang on, let's... I don't think it is. Main. You've got this const here, but I don't think that makes... That doesn't make thread data const. That's just like a weird byproduct of how enumerate works. The consequence of the map. The iterator is a pair of... That's just fundamentally how it works. That's annoying. Oh, is it buffer? Oh, yeah, you're right. Might not help us. See if it explodes. For something I'm just dumping at the end, but when the game's over, I'm kind of happy to have a little one there. Right, see if this explodes. Right. It's resolve these symbols wrong, but like wait for multiple objects is correct because those threads will be sleeping. Oh, I bet you know why. I bet I need to do my weird CV2 update. It's probably just got the wrong symbols in the wrong places. The PD file is stale. Might have to move to lib backtrace, I think, because this is already a pain. But it's like another dependency I have. I think it's easy to just fix it. Oh, no, the whole thing is just fucked. Interesting. Okay, let's go up to something interesting like the make. No, these are all just blank, aren't they? Why has it not been able to resolve these? Like, we definitely saw it working, right? Oh, that's the unit tests, that's why. I need to do it for the main source debug. There you go. Who knows where I pulled that out from? That looks better. There we go. Still got 8 for multiple objects there. These are weird. These are not right. I don't think. Yeah, what is this? There's something with vectors. Yeah, it's... I'm having a bad time with that. Maybe? I don't know. I don't think we do anything with that. Right, let's finish off what we started anyway. So that will dump some like facsimile of that. What we can do is do try and make this a little bit nicer. No, project start because I want to make an FPS. I am not making an engine. Let's take the data and then let's do. What I want to do is swap them, right? So let's do const auto auto sorted stack equals stack std views transform const. So this will give me no, that won't. No, that won't give me anything, mate. Const. So this will give me the pair in each. In each element in that stack, right? So what we could then do is we could. No, is this the right place? No, I want to do one above, don't I? Sorry. So what I want to do is do const auto sorted data equals thread data std views transform. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now const auto p. So what this is going to do is it's going to, if you could format it for me, that'd be grand. Fine, you're going to stay there. Fine, whatever. I'll deal with it. This is now going to transform each of those stack trace to counter values. So what we can do is if we do something like return std make pair. Thanks. Std get 1 p std get no std get naught p. That will effectively swap the key and the value, right? And then if we do std ranges to std map of std size t UFS stack trace buffer std greater std size t, right? That should, in theory, convert all those into a sorted map of now the value to the counter to the data sorted in descending order. I think I've missed some stuff here. And then we could probably wrap the resolve symbols in that maybe, but for now let's just do. This should work the same. But of course these are now the other way around. We'll probably want to limit it as well. Just take the top like 5 of each thread, so they don't need to go much further than that. I'm just trying to think what the best way of doing that is. Can I do std views filter const auto const auto e return std range. No, I don't want filter. Do I want take. It's not. No, I need to. How? I need to do it in the transform. Because I don't want to filter on the number of elements. I always want the number of elements to be the same. It's the number of internal elements here. So I think I'd want something like third views take the first 5. I don't know if it's clever enough to do that. Interesting how that fails. Great, thanks. Really helpful. It won't, but I was hoping it might be able to construct it for that. Otherwise, we can just do stood ranges to UFS stack trace buffer. Maybe. I'm not too worried about this. This is like the least important bit. Sure. Sure. I got a feeling it's not going to work either because we're filtering it off when we're iterating through the unordered set. So I don't think I like that. Yeah, it's not what I want. Right, I'm just going to take that out. I'll think about that later. That's like a quality of life improvement. Let's just get all that data over. Let's just check that blends. I feel like it's not printing anything out now. Yeah, I guess, but like I still would expect it to print out more. Let's just check my logic. So sorted data, we're going to swap those and make them greater on size t. So it should have the same number of elements, right? But it's now in a map, so ordered, going ascending to descending, and then we're going to loop through that, put out the data, and then print the symbols. Walk around for a bit. Oh, clip through that wall. Clip through that wall. It's not gonna be. It's open source, but it's not a game engine. That's better. Oh, here you go. Thread ID is 0. So it did this 957 times, this 76 times, this 65 times, this 20 times, 19 times, 7, 7, 3, 2, 1. So there's quite a lot there. And then we go to thread ID 2. So that seems fine. Yeah, I don't know why the character's being dropped. I don't know if it's in my resolve symbols code or... It'd have to be, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm not that smart. I can't get any of this to work, but thank you for the kind words. Okay, that's fine. So we can dump that, and then We just need to fix this. I think before we fix that, I want to finish off, because I've left kind of a lot of things half finished now, which I don't really like. Let's go back to the stack trace counter. Right, I'm gonna try something. Can we add an enumerate without blocking it? I don't know. Why would you want the enumerate? Is that then just to bail out after so many iterations? Could we just use the take there? Oh, wait a minute. Am I being stupid? Don't I just want to do the take here? Because they're sorted, right? They're already sorted at this point, so I only want to take the first 5. Well, let's just do the first 2. That looks better. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay, that's fine. Do we want to do the... Actually, I don't think there's any optimization to do. What I was thinking is that let's go back to our stack trace counter. What I was thinking is that what I don't want to have to do is to construct this object every time just in order to construct the hash, if that makes sense. Like, if we go to the thread pool, but I think I might be okay. Let me just, I need to puzzle this out in my head. We construct the stack trace here. We try and place it, but try and place is a... It does accept it by PR value. But what I'm saying is I want to avoid constructing this in the case where we've already, like, constructing this inside the object, when the case that we've already got a match, i.e. the hash matches. But I think try and place is smart enough to do this. I don't think there's any heterogeneous magic I could do. I could create a span, but we've already had issues with that. Like, what I'm saying is it worth adding a... overload like that to construct the hash? Or would there any be... I don't think so, because I don't think we ever look it up by... What we would want to avoid doing is having to construct a... If we could magically materialize that vector of pointers some other way, we would want to avoid constructing this object. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think I need to. I think there might be... I think this is fine. This is fine. In fact, I might not even need this. I may have gone one step too far. I think what we'll do is we'll commit this up, and then we'll spend the next 30-40 minutes, whatever, seeing if we can integrate lib backtrace and get better symbol resolution. Right. Oh, hang on. Stack trace primitive. Right, SG in place vector. So this is now include utils slash stack trace buffer.h. Alright, and so this becomes stack trace buffer. And this becomes stack trace buffer. Okay, fine. I think that's fine. So that is. There's a couple of things here. Hang on, let me just enter this. So let's fix that, fix that, fix that, fix that. So that was fix thread ID. And then the rest is to add integrate stack frame buffer. And then this, what do we do here? So this is all just log frame log thread, sorry, profile threads, and this is log thread profiles on exit. Frame, trace, please, help, question, what? Right. Okay, so let's have a think about the backtrace. Stack frame, stack trace. Where's that? Stack frame. Is it stack trace? Already forgot what I've typed. It is. Take it all back. All of this is future my problem. Okay, so I think there is there an example? So this is the newer version. The older one has the example, so I'm hoping that this is still roughly valid. But basically, we're going to try and do this. So you initialize your backtracing object. You can make it multi-threaded as well, which means that means I don't think we have to worry about locks. And then we capture the backtrace ourselves, right? This is a very C API. You create like a state object and then pass it around. I don't think you ever clean it up. Sure. And then you use PC info where you pass in the PC, or RIP in this case, bunch of callbacks, and then something magic happens. Then we'll give it a go. Okay, so let's do. This is a nice thing about abstraction, right? Is I am now like code uses this, right? And as long as I keep the interface the same, I'm free to change the implementation. So let's get rid of all this window gubbins. I really hope I can see lib backtrace in here. Backtrace.h, right. Whew. Nice. I'm throwing my Windows code away and rewriting it with lib backtrace. Apparently I can pass a null pointer here and it figures it out. Then I want back trace. Ooh, is that not 1? It doesn't seem to have that. Am I missing it? Hang on, what's this? Backtrace supported. Does this give me the magical flag that I want? Support threads. So the 3D view we see from time to time is all done with this C++ code. Yes. Okay, I need some sort of error callback. Auto backtrace error callback. That'll take a void star and a const char star message and an int num, and should return a void. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna yeet that up for someone else to worry about. Error handling backtrace error message num. Thank you very much. Okay, and then so right. Error. Oh, sorry. Backtrace error callback, and then null pointer. Don't know what that last argument is. Let's see if we can figure it out. I do not have symbols for this. That's great. We're just going to roll with it. I don't know if there's any error handling. I don't know if that can... That's got to allocate, right? That's got to allocate. If it's giving me a pointer. Like, I'm almost kind of okay with leaking it. Here we go. Oh, that's just random data that I want to pass in. That will get passed to the error callback. Fine. Create state information about those routines. This must be called before any of the other routines, and its return value must be passed to all of the routines. File name is the file path. If it is null, the library will try to system-specific path names. If not null, file name. The statement will be accessed by multiple threads. As soon as the library will use appropriate atomic operations if thread 0 calling this function allocates resources that cannot be freed. Great, thanks. Just fucking smash a memory leak straight into my app. Thanks. There is no backtrace free state function. Programs are expected to call this function at most once and to save the return value for all later calls to backtrace. Love it. Absolutely brilliant. So, cheers, mate. I'll just deal with that, shall I? Shouldn't let other people write code. I guess that's now a pointer. It doesn't need to be static either, does it? Because it's in an anonymous namespace. I mean, it's C code, mate. What are you? Right. Okay. Fine. Resolve symbols. Lock's a lock. It also doesn't say whether it's like succeeds or not. I guess it's just expected to succeed. That's exactly how I feel. Right, okay, so the next thing I want to do is I guess I'm gonna try and ronge again. Probably, yeah. We'll see what happens. Right, so E is now each individual pointer. So I want to do... Again, not a lot of error checking going on here. Backtrace PC info G state. PC will be E. Might have to cast that. I need the full callback. Just realized backtrace error callback. I've literally named this the same thing as the type. I think that's fine, but I might... I'm just going to call that error callback just to be on the safe side. So now I need a full, not just, I need the full callback. So this is going to be auto full callback void data. Not sure if I need that. Std uint pointer t pc const char file name int lino const char star function. Where am I going to put this data? I'm going to need... Right, okay. Let's do... Right, okay, fine. So we've got this, right? Let's finish. Oh, so much to do. Right, so this is going to be our full callback. Then we're going to have our error callback, right? And then we're going to have some data, but okay. I'm starting to see it now. I'm starting to see it. Okay, let's do auto symbol equals std a string, and then let's pass this as my callback data. Stick a C++ object through a C API. Why not? That is going to need to be reinterpret casted. Cheeky little reinterpret cast. Okay. Right. So now with our data, we can do auto symbol equals reinterpret cast the string pointer data. That seems like a fair thing to do. All right, and then we can do here you go. There's like obviously an extra step we need to do here. So if we get the function, then we can pull this together. Else not, we have to get it presumably from the symbol file, from the symbol information, I guess, or somewhere else. So we then need to call this with syminfo callback, which is this one. Might as well do all of this. if function star symbol equals. I also like how it says return in, but oh, it's return 0. Fine. Okay, just return 0, mate. Symbol equals stirred format. What are they suggesting? So we're going to do for the PC value. So x, then the function name, then the file name and line number. Let's do PC. Let's do function. Let's do file name. Let's do line number. Else. Do some other bullshit. Auto sim info callback. What? This has. I'm just going to copy this because it's only so much typing I can do in a day. This is now void, obviously. And their proposal for this is void. No, what am I doing? So their proposal for this is if I have a sim name. Hang on, I'm going to need to do this bullshit again. Let's keep tramping this poor string around. If sim name, then symbol equals third format x that, and then so that would be PC and sim name. Who knows? Sim name. Sim name. Else. Stick in. It's like literally have no idea, mate. Good luck. That kind of makes sense. I don't think I want any of this bullshit. Right, okay, and then else we do back trace sim info callback. We do the global G state. And then we do look, got reasons, right? Got my reasons. PC sim info callback data. This needs to go up. Slap that there. Not quite there, obviously, because oh my goodness, I could just forward declare these, but you know what are you gonna do? Right, okay, fine. So we've got that, we've got this, we've got that, we've got this. Still error? Question mark. Why is it not like that? Is it just G state? Oh, of course, because it's not it's the resolve symbol, isn't it? Excess elements and scalar initializer, backtrack symbol. Let's give it a go. Give it a go. In function int, it's cool. What have I done? I don't understand why it doesn't like it there, but it likes it there. Oh, because I'm calling the callback, that's why. And then this has to have the error callback. There we go. Nailed it. Really nice if this works. It won't do them. It probably won't demangle. That's something we'll have to handle ourselves. Oh. It's not even an error. Just straight up. Oh, what? Oh, what a fool. Absolute fucking Berg. Return empty string. I'll remember to change that later. That's entirely how my internal monologue sounds, by the way. I don't know what's causing the really long loading times. Couldn't tell you. You need a profiler. Oh, yes. Symbols. Tasty, tasty symbols. Where's main? I really care about main at the moment, if I'm being totally honest. It's mangling names was fine. We can demangle those. I wonder if this is stuff we need to strip out. Is this capturing... Also, these should be printed as a list. Like that's like just not useful to anyone. Main const auto symbols equals UFPS. Resolve symbols stack for const auto symbol in symbols. What I'm actually going to do is can I do symbols that views join with n? Is that going to be... Yeah, you're probably right. No one wanted it at all. Whatever, I'm just gonna do it. Const auto symbol str equals stood string stream for con auto symbol in symbols. Symbol str symbol and symbol str. And then I'm going to break. Just do the first thread. Certainly will remember that. Probably need to include. Yes. What the hell is he not doing there? What? Ugh. That's what const correctness gets you. It's const correctness gone mad. I think I lost 20 people off Twitch from that. Do I blame them? No. Would I have done the same? Yes. Am I terrible at what I do? Absolutely. And Matt the Boomer Loops, yeah, right. Okay, that. What is this register frame C2? I feel like this is something I should recognize. Because it's spending most of its time in window swap, which probably makes sense, right? Okay, so I'm going to demangle these names. I don't know if I just need to skip these. I don't know what this is. How do I resolve register frame CTOR in boost stack trace? So I'm glad I'm not the only one who has this issue. No one has responded. There seems to be. Okay, let's just do the name demangling first. So name demangling is provided to you by GCC. There is a CXX API header, and then you call this random magical dunder function, and it will rename it for you. Fun fact, it does an allocation for you, but you can at least free it afterwards. So I guess we'll just roll that out super quick. So in hash include CXX API. Where am I going to want to do this? And I want to do this where I have the function name. So we're going to do. What are we going to do? We're going to do const auto real name equals ABI CXA. A bit worried it's not found this. Demangle. It has found it. The mangle name would be function. The output buffer will be nothing. The length will be nothing. And the status will be, I don't know, auto status equal int, something like that. And then we'll do status. And then we will stick in real name. We're going to hope that doesn't explode. And then we're going to do stirred free real name. Give that a quick whirl. Well, I mean, name mangling only happens with C++, right? That's the only way. That's how function overloads can happen, right? If you want a function which has the same symbol name but takes different arguments, those still have to resolve somehow to the same function name in the binary, but the binary can only have one unique name for each, so it mangles it with blends in information around like the namespace and the arguments and the templates and stuff like that. Crashed. Stroke crashed. What have I? I mean, it's pretty much what it says to do. I could probably try running it through my new fancy Vim binding things, but this is still just a little bit easier. Why is this failed? Status -2. Real name, null pointer. Probably trying to format a null pointer then, I guess. But I'm kind of curious why it failed. What was my input function? Main. Okay. Not. It's fine. This is not normal programming. We can allow ourselves a little bit of jank. Okay. I mean, that has demangled it, so I'm not really going to complain with that. That looks pretty demangled to me. I wonder if it doesn't like a name that is not mangled. I wonder if like the precondition for it is you have to give it a mangled name. I might see if I can skip out some of this bullshit because I definitely don't want any of this. So can we do? Try and work out what the best way of doing this is. Can I then do? Hang on. Stood views filter const auto e return not e dot begins with something like that. Stood string starts with, begins with. Always. Starts with, obviously. If it doesn't start with that bullshit, then include it. This is really nice, by the way. This just removes that. Well, I need to delete that PDB file just to double check, but like I'm pretty sure this is. Oh, why are you? I don't. Contains. There we go. There we go. Nice. Like, I think that's pretty good. We can see now, based on our sampling profile, where spend 29. This could probably be stats, right? Something, give it a percentage. There's like I said, there's loads of stuff we can do. I might just tweak this like off stream as we go through, like just make the printing a little bit better, and I'm eventually going to integrate it with ImGUI. But I think that's pretty nice, right? We can kind of see it's spending a lot of time in here, and it's also spending a lot of time in loading, which makes sense, file loading, right? Which makes sense because we basically just spun up the game and then killed it. So it was probably going to spend a lot of time there. It's nice. I like it. I like it. I am pleased with that. Use lib backtrace for symbol resolution. I'm going to leave the break in there for now because I'm just more interested in seeing it as it happens. We'll just remove it later because I don't want this massive dump of text. We don't need PDBs at all now. The whole point of this is this no longer uses format profile better. But if we do rmrf build the source debug UFPS, if we do that, we should still get the symbols. Yeah, exactly. Why was there a break here? That is one of the advantages of streaming to what is now actually quite a decent sized audience. Is normally someone can remember. I've got people to do my remembering for me. It's dark. It's better. Put a bit of light fog in there. Actually, I probably should just boost the ambience rather than that. Indeed, I have a pretty small context window. It's getting there. It's really getting there. I'm really pleased with it. I am genuinely really pleased with the progress that we've made. So like I said, I don't actually do loads off stream, but the things that I will be working on off stream are the refactor of this misery because it's just really complex now and hard to work with. I need to refactor out the handle system to be used for more things, which will be useful for physics. But next, I think kind of like, I don't know, we get symbols. Spends most of its time in swap, and then the rest and the large amount of time in post render. Because that's doing all the ImGUI rendering. Already, pretty interesting. I'm really pleased with that. I must admit, it was a massive faff. Thank you for sticking with me. I made a lot of mistakes, but I think we got there in the end. Right, I'm gonna push that up. T stream 37. I'm going to try and merge this now. Kick off the really long build process. Before everyone disappears. Post Discord, create pull request. Right, I'm going to continue hacking away on getting the debug stuff finished. And then I think, next stream, let's jolt. Let's do it. Let's get some physics. I have no idea what I'm doing. Again, I have no idea how I'm going to make it work, but we will jolt and we'll have a jolly good time about it. Search and filter. Category, filter by category, CPP. Tag. No one's CPPing. That is ultimately very sad. Okay. yeah, I mean, the whole point of this is to show the highs and the lows, right? Like, it's very easy when you're doing a video to just curate the good bits. And even with the reverse engineer videos, I do try and show some of the highs and lows. I try and tell a story, right? That's kind of that's my shtick, right? Is to do interesting projects and tell a bit of a story. Live is a bit more raw, as you can expect, because there's literally nowhere to hide. Like, either works or it doesn't. And I've got 150 people staring at me. But it's fine. We make it work and we get there. Okay. I don't really have anything else to add. There's a new video. If you've not gone to watch it, please do watch it. It's not performing as well as some others, but I was kind of expecting that because it was really hard to make a thumbnail for. And as we all know, the thumbnail is more important than the video. Like, that is just the sad truth of YouTube. So because it doesn't have a great thumbnail, the video will not do very well. But I just kind of ran out of creative juice to make anything better. But yeah, next video, let's jump, let's do it, let's do some physics. We'll have a grand old time. Thank you for keeping me company. As always, it is very much appreciated. I do very much enjoy spending my evenings with you, and I will see you all anon.